My name is Ronnie Cho, and now we're going to talk about fundraising and why it's such a critical part of a winning campaign. You can't run broke. That's one of the sayings that Lauren Underwood likes to say. It's hard to win when you're not marshaling the resources to put your message out there, to make sure the voters understand your vision, the things that you want to do, the qualifications you have for that role. It's just a vital part of how and why you will win your race. You can't and shouldn't do everything. And so when it comes to fundraising, if it's a multi-million-dollar campaign, you'll probably need some professional help. But if it's a local race that's smaller, you might be able to get by with a volunteer, a family friend who's an accountant or who's really good at balancing checkbooks. That should probably do it for you. But it all depends on the campaign and how much money you need to raise. So oftentimes people who are thinking about running immediately say to themselves, I'm not independently wealthy, I couldn't possibly afford to run. That's not true. We want to make sure that you know that. The first step for you to decide how much money you can raise is to just think about who's in your immediate circle. Who are your best friends, your best members of your family, the folks that you can trust who will be more inclined to invest a couple of bucks here and there just to get you started. The second step would be really, and this is maybe an outdated term, but Rolodexing. And that means to go through your contacts, every person you've ever met, create a spreadsheet, put the name of that contact in that spreadsheet, and a dollar assigned to that person. After you do the Rolodexing, figure out who is maybe willing to reinvest over and over again, which is also very good for budgeting. When you're running and you're asking people for money, it's oftentimes can be an awkward thing for many people. It's an uncomfortable thing to be asking for money. I think most people who've done this for years even recognize that's true. The way to frame it to make it, I think, easier to make the pitch is that you're not just begging for money from people or strangers for some vague cause. You're asking them to donate, to be an investor, to invest in a vision, a solution that's going to help the community, improve the country. You're inviting them to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves in a way that only can happen if they contribute financially. So as a candidate running, you're going to hear the word no a lot. Fundraising is certainly no exception to that as well. So the idea is to be persistent. For instance, if you're asking someone to donate to your campaign, you should always have a fixed number in mind before you even ask. Don't ask them by saying, oh, whatever amount you're willing to give. Help them help you by giving them a number. Everyone has an opportunity to have a multiplying effect on their own investment. So if I'm going to give a candidate $10, I can certainly ask 5 of my friends to also give $10. That sort of multiplying effect is an easy way to quickly scale the amount of money that you can raise individually. The most effective way is what we call call time. And so it's dedicated time each day, each week, but many hours at a time where you're just calling people and asking them personally about giving to your campaign. What you want to do is you want to give them a pitch. Hi, I'm running for office. These are the issues impacting my community. There's an opportunity to run this fall, and I'm asking for your support so I can have the resources to communicate to my voters. We can fight for the issues and the values that we care about. You want to call every single person you know, leave them a voicemail, give them a reason to invest in your campaign, but you have to be dedicated to making those calls. They're not easy. It's not everyone's favorite thing to do. There are candidates who raise millions of dollars who've been doing campaigns for years and years who still don't like doing it. But the truth of the matter is you are your best advocate when it comes to making the pitch for why someone should give you their hard-earned money. And it's important that you are the one that makes most of that appeal each and every day. So digital fundraising has exploded in the last 10 plus years, where traditionally most of the money people raise were through call time, but folks are not answering their phones as much as they used to. You need to have a very strong online presence, whether it's a website where people get information about how to support you, more information about your positions and how to give money. You also need to have a strong social media presence that can also yield followers, voter information, and also a pathway for folks to donate. Another way of raising money are what we call fundraising events. So you might have a dinner party and a guest speaker, an opportunity to get in front of people in someone's home, at a restaurant, at a bar, somewhere else, where people can ask you questions, ask you why you're running, ask your position on particular issues. The most important part about that is keep your costs low so that the money that comes in at this fundraising event goes directly to the campaign rather than overhead. How does that all feed into each other? Well, the key to remember is that each of these helps the other. So the more money you raise, the more name recognition you can get, whether it's a piece of mail or a digital ad that you see. The more momentum you get in that front, the more press that you get. So the more people are writing about you, so you're getting what they call earned media, newspaper articles, magazine articles, profiles about who you are. The more people see that article and are impressed with your resume and what you're doing, the more inclined that they are to vote or donate. So all of these things can be considered to be force multipliers. One feeds into the other, and the more you do, the more that grows. And as they say, a high tide lifts all boats. All of these things all together can help amplify and propel your campaign.